Hello, everybody. It is your boy Wacker Really. Today, I want to talk about something that I've been interested in with the topic of ADHD. Yes, the which most people have seems to be diagnosed and then undiagnosed, and someone who has experience with. I like to shed some light and how to manage it, because it is not an easy thing to deal with. It is very tricky, and a lot of people can actually be misdiagnosed with and don't know how to deal with it. So, living in the 21st century, we are filled with so many technologies. Look at it, the apps, TikTok, YouTube, pretty much all forms of social media. It is pretty intense, and the quality of things is kind of dumbing down. So, growing up in the 90s, the 90s, the 90s was the best time, guys. If you were not born in that time, in that era, you missed it. It was the golden era. But it was very nice because everything was slow pace. Everything was not in the fast paced culture, right? But growing up, things tend to be more fast paced, especially if you live in the West. I'll give you my story when it comes my ADHD, because I've been diagnosed, and I get really skeptical when people just throw the word ADHD like they have, like if they do have it, because it's a long process to actually be diagnosed with. It's not just a simple thing. And even for me, I was actually misdiagnosed, which is kind of stupid. But this sheds some light that if this happens to me, it can definitely happen to somebody else. Growing up in school, oh man, it was so difficult for me. Like, I really enjoyed elementary school. It was the best time. I love it. Especially with the kids you're with, the friends you made, doing some doodling, drawing, and just a lot of fun activities. But when it comes to the work itself, like math, science, and English, I had such troubles. Like, it was, for some reason, it was hard for me to just comprehend things, and it was this thing so difficult because I used to compare myself with kids around my table. So you have like little section groups, like 5 people in one table, right? They have their own desk. So for example, like you're sitting in front, on the left hand side, and the right hand side, and then like the opposite, right? You have people, and if you read a page doing homework or doing schoolwork, sometimes I see kids just finishing early. Then I tend to like rush a lot, like oh my gosh, like I have to be finished because they're finished, type of thing. And it was really discouraging because subconsciously it was something that I should not be doing, but consciously like I have to like make it up because I don't want people to see me as like slow. And it really messed up my way of studying. It really messed up the way I was able to be efficient with my work. The worst part was, when it comes to reading for me, I tend to stutter, mumble, and sometimes just miss words. I will add words to a paragraph or just miss the words at all. And it really is struggling. Like, it really is a struggling factor for me. Like, oh God. So, the worst part was exams for me, because, oh dear, when it comes to a question, if it's multiple choice, what I will do, I will just look at the answers, and then I'll look at the question, and I'll just skim through the question, and I'm like, okay, wait, this looks like that's the right, the question and answer looks pretty similar, so I'll just go with B. But I didn't read the question properly. It turns out the answer would be C. So it was a really struggling factor because I just, for some reason, thought that if I'm done first, people think that I'm really smart. It shows that you know what's going on, you're fast paced, you're very intellectual. So it was really hard. I actually remember, like, in a good way, like, I see things very glass half full. Apparently, my parents went to the school counselor or principal, or even my teacher. Is very like vague, because even for myself, I don't know much to it. But my parents got pulled aside with a teacher, and the parents and my teacher knew there was something wrong with me. So what they did is, during my class, I get pulled out from class and be brought to a special teacher. And I had literally no idea. I just thought it was like, oh, okay, I'll be learning extra. But then what happened is, like, I get to this, like, room, and it's always empty. I don't know why. It's always empty. I barely see anyone there. And for me, I liked it because I had to, like, travel from, like, the school, like, midway into the other end of the school. It was, like, really nice because I'm like, oh, I can, like, waste more time. And so what happened was, when I'm in the class, like, this special classroom, it was kind of like a special ed class, right? Like, to kind of see where my head is at, like, there was something wrong with me, right? So the teacher would, like, play games with me, like play Connect Four, but also do some reading with me. And I literally thought I was, like, getting some, like, special kind of, like, smart help, you know what I'm saying? But I turned out to be very good, right? But there was definitely something wrong with me. So that's it was not like, okay, everything was normal. But what happened is that, like, maybe I took, like, 15 minutes, 20 minutes off of it, right? And it was, like, some partial homework. And then afterwards, I get back to my regular classroom, and kids would look at me like, oh, okay, well, he's back. So it was, like, kind of a normal thing. But the thing is, I didn't realize I was the only one in the classroom who has been doing such things like this. Now I'm just looking back right now, and I'm like, oh, wait a damn second. What what else has been going on?
But throughout school, elementary school, I did struggle a lot when it comes to subjects like English, math, science. I was able to keep up. I was always a C plus type of person. My attention span was that definitely was not there. I was always spacing out, but I keep myself always determined to learn and study. So I really involved myself in the class. So I'm very proud of myself with that. Now, skipping over to high school, I know I'm doing a very brief summary, but I'm just thinking about the stories that pops up in my head that is along with the ADHD. I know during high school, I was in Canada, so we have three tiers. You would say you have locally developed, then applied, then academic. So you have, like, level one, level two, level three, and all my school life I was always level one because I'm like, I just want to get by high school. And it was kind of a ego thing for me. Like, my ego was bruised because, like, I know people in my class who are always people from my elementary school that transferred to high school was able to get applied classes or even academic, and sometimes I just feel very inferior to it. I feel kind of upset that I'm like, oh gosh, like, why I'm not smart enough to do that. But luckily enough, I made do with what I have, and I tried my best to be successful in my school. I'm sure if I look back to my report card that there were some classes I wasn't applied, but it was still a struggle for me. But thankfully, I was able to do all my homework. Uh, I was able to do all the projects, but it was the problem with me is what comes to examinations. It was the most hardest thing because it's just sometimes I just always skip over. That's the biggest problem. And then during high school, we have this Canadian thing called the EQAO. It's just something with your, like, I think if it comes to English, I'm not too really sure. I had no idea why we did this during school, but I know it's something very serious. So it was really, really, really hard for me to come to things like that. But, oh, Now, college. Ooh, college. I really loved college. College was the best. Like, honestly, I loved elementary school. I hated high school, but really enjoyed my college because I was able to do something that I wanted to do, and that really helps with your ADHD. I know that really helped me a lot because what happens is that you become more focused with something you're very passionate, you're something with what you love, and it really was my key to success in my college. And but it was definitely troubling times. I used to just get like nervous when it comes to situation, when it comes to examinations. I used to just distract myself. I didn't know this was kind of a nervous thing, but I keep like tapping my foot, right? Having my like the back heel of my foot just kind of tapping around on the table, and it was just kind of loud. And a classmate was like to me, "Hey, are you nervous?" I'm like, "I don't think I am. Why?" He's like, "Oh, well, when it comes to you tapping your foot on the floor, is an indication of you being nervous," which I had no idea. I thought it was kind of like out of boredom, but I was able to survive through college. But the problem was like I tried so hard when it comes to studying. Like sometimes before an examination, if my class is like 7 o'clock, I will wake up at 5 o'clock, do some studying, and then when I get my results, sometimes it's just a barely passing grade. So it was really tough, and thankfully I was able to survive. Like that's the thing, I somehow was able to survive with this whole ADHD thing, but it is very tough because um, you are very abnormal from people who are normal. Like you are neurodivergent, right? So it's very different because one way would work with other people, but your way is very different. And the best way I can describe that really hit home for me was Naruto. And it was very close to home because what happened was it the Sharingan? I'm not too sure. I know he did a little ball thing, like, everyone else was able to do it by themselves, but then Naruto was not able to do it. You need to pretty much uh, convert. He needed to do his own way of getting it, and he had his clone, jujitsu, and he was able to do that little like that. I don't know what the heck it is. It's been such a long time that. That power, the little ball thing. So, and I'm realizing I'm like, there's no such thing as one way of doing things in life. So I was able to do a lot of things that really accommodated to my own self. What I realized is I knew there was something off with me in the back of my head. So I wanted to get done some research. So I did some YouTube, and there were some things like not paying attention properly or was looking around or being distracted. Like there was small indications I knew there was something's off with me. So what I did was during COVID. This is the worst thing ever though. Like I wish there was another way of me doing this, but during COVID, I went to my doctor. Wait, you know what's even funny? I couldn't go to my doctor during COVID. I had to actually do a phone call, and this is a problem being misdiagnosed because there's a lot more things to do when diagnosing ADHD. It's not just a one-time thing. And so my doctor did over the phone call, he sent me a PDF form and pretty much doing a thing called, hey, like fill this out, the best of your best abilities, and we're going to see if you're diagnosed or not. And I did it, and I was diagnosed with ADHD, which simple enough. There was very simple to do. So I was pretty much under the impression that, okay, well, my doctor told me that if I have ADHD, I have ADHD because he was my family doctor. So I will not argue with him. He was a smart guy, to my knowledge. So he gave me a bunch of medications first, and it was pretty intense because having these medications really will mess up your systems. The side effects are crazy. Really bad. So the first ADHD medication my doctor gave me, and it was such a long list because I didn't even know there was many types of variants with him, and that's kind of the hurdle
And that's the biggest hurdle ever. Because even though I got diagnosed, it was still a problem. I thought my doctor would save me, right? Give me a solution. But no, it was pretty much a temporary band-aid for it. So, oh God, it was so crazy, guys. It was so crazy. So the first thing he gave me was guanfacine. Guanfacine is a non-stimulant, and it worked for a while. And it will take a while for this non-stimulant to work, because you'll have small dosage, and then after a week you will build up the tolerance, right, into the full amount of maybe 10 mgs, right? So each day I took it was maybe 0.5, right? So like kind of building it up very slow. And then when I took it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so nice. I loved it. It was like wearing a piece of glasses, you know. But the problem was the side effects was crazy, and I didn't want to wait for like just a week, you know, because what happened is that when you don't take it a day or two, like you kind of lose the momentum of it. So I told my doctor after like I finished the one, um, I didn't finish one like the whole week, but it was a week or two. I'm like, doctor, like this is not what I'm wanting. This is not really working out for me. Okay, like I don't think I'm seeing any progress. So he's like, okay, so we'll give you something else. And he gave me Concerta. Oh, oh man, I hated this one. This is the worst one for me because I had such really bad side effects. I remember I was like, it worked though. It really worked. It was like, I think it was a lot better than guanfacine. And the thing is, you can mix between the stimulant and non-stimulant. So I was mixing freaking guanfacine and Concerta. So yeah, what happened was I was getting some rashy moods, and it was really bad because sometimes I get so moody with my partner, and it was really bad. I hated it, but I could not control it. It was just taking over my emotions. But afterwards, you lose a bit of appetite, you lose sleep, you get insomnia. It was really bad. I really hated it. I was something like, okay, I like there was more cons than negative. No, there was more cons than pros. I'm like, I can't do this. This is not for me. And I realized what comes to taking this path is that an ADHD pill is kind of a trial and error. You're gonna see which one fits your shoe. So I tried this one thing, and I was very positive. It is a stimulant called Adderall XR. Yes, there's different types of Adderalls. Okay, I didn't even know that as well. Like I was honestly during my whole journey learning by myself. My doctor at this point, growing up, I'm like, this doctor is pretty much bum. He's only good for giving me pills, and that's pretty much it. So I told him like maybe a month or two that, hey, give me something different because this is not working out. He's like, with no complaint, he's like, sure, no problem, whatever. Because I think he got sick of me. I don't know what it was with my relationship with him, but he got eventually just sick of me throughout the whole years of being my family doctor. Plus, he was getting freaking old, so I think when it comes to old age, you tend to be more naggy. I'm like, okay, whatever. So when I took Adderall, my life changed. It was life-changing for me. It's like having a bunch of YouTube tabs closed down. Feels like having a pair of glasses with your brain. The music stops. Like everything was really nice. It's like my thoughts are one by one. It was really, really nice. And I took the lowest MG, which is 10. And I freaking loved it. It really helped me for a couple of months when it comes to school. It helped me a couple of months when it comes to like my examination. It was really nice. But then throughout the time of me using it, I said to myself, there's no way that I'm going to be doing this. Also, the reason how I got this is that I had a gay friend, and we were just hanging out talking. Just don't worry, guys. We were just talking. Nothing else happened. And I didn't even know about this, but we were just chilling. He's like, yeah, I have ADHD. I'm like, really? You have ADHD? He's like, yeah. I mean, like, during high school, and he was a very smart guy. Like, I didn't even know he had ADHD. He's like,
Yeah, during high school, I got diagnosed, and I've been taking Adderall, and actually for him, he was the reason why I was on Adderall. So I'm very thankful for him. Very happy he was able to put me on that. And while he was telling me this, he's like, "Yeah, now the doses are pretty good, but now I'm on the highest dose." And I'm like, "Oh, what is the highest dose?" 40 mgs. That was crazy to me. I'm like, this is insane. And he was jokingly telling me that, yeah, Adderall is just like meth. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, no, it's just one chemical compound different from meth. I'm like, oh God, really? He's like, yeah, not too bad. I'm like, I mean, not too bad. First of all, like, are you considered like a drug addict? Because meth is something that is really dangerous. He's like, no, it's not really dangerous at all. But the problem for me, I have a plateau, so I'm used to it. I'm like, oh geez. So I never want to be able to become used of having Adderall and like increase my dosage. So what happened is what I did is that I took some time sparingly. So just say 1 week I took Adderall, and then the next week I took a break because I didn't want to increase the the plateau of it. I don't want to have a plateau that increase the doses of it into like 10 mg to 15 mg. Even right now, like my ADHD it's kind of crazy because I'm not taking it anymore. The pills, because I just didn't like the side effects. It did help me. I still have some, but I'm gonna use it as kind of a emergency if I need something to do something very important. But look at me, I'm like kind of rambling different topics at the same time. But it really does help though, guys, with the ADHD pills. But I knew that this wasn't the strong solution for me, so I did some research, and I was able to hear a good book. The problem with ADHD, you need to have a cheap fix of dopamine, and then what really happened is like, okay, well, I'm doing some like bad habits which I didn't really like at all. So what can help me change? Because I really want to be more the holistic, natural way. And I was able to read a book, is the easy peasy method, and you can substitute whatever addiction with with what you're currently having. So if you're drinking, if you're smoking, right, or having like hunger problems, you can substitute that with the addiction with this book. So I was able to do that as well, because addictions does happen a lot because people with ADHD, and it's very hard to overcome it because you're using your willpower. I was able to use a nice reference from Healthy Gamer, and you know, even though he has some of the controversy, I'm a bit skeptical, but he does make some great points, and how ADHD is kind of underlying misdiagnosed of trauma. Just because of ADHD, maybe it's not. Maybe you have underlying pathologies, underlying problems, which makes a lot of sense. So, you know, maybe you don't actually have ADHD. Maybe you have trauma. You have something going on in your childhood that really affected you. So the problem with me is I had that as well. So I'm like, okay, well, I have a full mixed bag of things. So I had to really work on myself, and that's really what it is working on yourself. And the problem is, it will definitely take some time with it, on knowing how to kind of row your boat. As what I did for my solution is that I I need to get a healthy diet. Like, to me, what helped me was a lot of supplements, vitamins. I took the natural way, which is really helpful, guys, which is pretty much taking zinc, L-theanine, magnesium glycinate. Eat very good, right? Replace the vegetable oil with extra virgin olive oil. Get some omega-3s, salmon. Drink chamomile tea. It really helped you a lot, because unfortunately, when I was young and I had such terrible sleeping patterns, it was so bad that I convinced myself, I try to convince myself that I could be a morning person, but to this day, I'm not. And insomnia does run, and your head just keeps rushing and rushing and rushing. So what you need to do also is calm that mind. And what really helped is meditation and journaling. Journaling does help a lot, because you're just pretty much decluttering everything in your head, and it doesn't matter. So what I do is I give myself time to first read a book because everything is high stimulate, right? And make sure you have the red light on because I know a lot of people have these glasses, but it's kind of unnecessary. You can easily just do it with a color filter on your phone, computer, so it's very simple. There's no need for you to buy and purchase everything like extra things because it's pretty much useless. So do that. You read a nice book, and then just journal, and then afterwards, what I really helped me recently, like even I'm still learning, guys, how to deal with it, but so far I've been having great success, is using the frequencies, and I use 417 for frequencies, and that helps when it comes to sleepiness, and it really helps a lot, and it's something very very good because I'm able to sleep, and sometimes I'm able to get a good like 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Before it was freaking not even like 7 hours. It was sometimes 6.5. It was, and 6.5 was still terrible for me. Oh, guys, it was bad, guys. But yeah, it is taking time. Make sure you get diagnosed properly, because if your doctor is giving you a simple fix, that's not really how it works. And I actually had to switch my doctor because of that. And my family doctor, who was really caring, actually told me that I don't think you have ADHD. I think there's other problems you have. So we went to get some blood work, and they told me like, well, I think it's not really when you have ADHD, you have other problems underlying it. So which was pretty helpful for me because I thought I was kind of like this messed up kid, because we kind of beat ourselves down regarding our performance and regarding our way of thinking in life. So just give yourself some time, give yourself work, and make yourself kind of uplift yourself. That's another thing. You kind of just kind of put yourself down and be like, oh shit, like this is what it is. Because what the challenge is, especially, is the addiction, and we really need that dopamine really bad because we're not able to get the same dopamine as someone who's, I guess, a quote unquote neurodivergent, normal person. So that's something to think about, guys. Well, guys, there's so much things to talk about, as I wrote down a lot of notes over here. So it's not just a simple thing to look out, talk about, and fix. It's a whole lifestyle, right? I would like to do more of these ADHD videos as it is very entertaining, very knowledgeable, and hopefully I can help somebody with this. I don't know if I said much about how to help, but definitely I'll do another one. I definitely like to tell more of my stories, how I dealt with it, but those are the small things that helped me a lot. Like I said, was the supplements, having a journal, doing some exercising, and really trying to just meditate, just have time for yourself, like seriously, like have just 10 minutes before going to bed, and just kind of reflect in life, because this is not something that is going to go away. You need to adapt to it, and it's something that if you can manage it, it can be your superpower. People may say that ADHD is a superpower, but it is also a disorder. So don't think that people think that, okay, it's all good. Like, it does have some severe consequences if not treated properly. Okay, guys? So be safe out there. I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Later, guys.